Fair warning. This is gonna be weirder than usual.
In Control, you step into the shoes of Jesse Faden, thrust into the role of the new director in the secretive Federal Bureau of Control, in the middle of a crisis enveloped in a deep, dark atmosphere with surreal elements. The game unfolds within the oldest house, the FBC's paranormally mutable headquarters, which not only harbors a supernatural force known as His, but also exudes a mysterious aura that blurs the lines between the physical and astral planes. As you navigate its ever-changing halls, shrouded in shadow and mystic, you will uncover not just the Bureau's secret, but also your own deeply hidden mysteries. Equipped with newfound supernatural abilities and the power to control the environment around you, this adventure is a thrilling blend of exploration, puzzle solving and combat, all set against a backdrop that is both intensely atmospheric and unsettlingly surreal. The game doesn't work in Whiskey unfortunately, so you will need to use crossover in this case. However, the installation is really simple, as like any other game. Just install the game in Steam and you can play. The game also works with default settings, which is Deep 3D Metal and M-Sync enabled, and you are all set. The game offers 3 graphical presets: low, medium and high. There is also option for rendering and display resolution that can also help you to save some performance. In all the tests in this video I will keep both resolution sections the same. We also have option for DLSS, which is not enabled yet, but we will look at it in another chapter in this video. FSR upscaling is not available in this game at all. Before moving on to the performance tests, there is one thing I want to show you regarding the settings and small issue I found. The game offers 2 options for reflections: screen space reflections quality and global reflections. If you use any of those settings, it starts to make strange artifacts on reflected areas. It is more visible while running or when you move the camera, but it is also scene specific. There are places where the artifacts are visible also with both settings set to high. I tried different combinations, but it is still there. Here it is really strange. The artifacts are visible only with medium settings, but in high the artifacts and the reflections are all gone on the wall. The only reflections we can see here are on Jesse's jacket and some on the floor. From performance view, the FPS with reflections completely off, and both on high settings, we almost have half less FPS. I'm not sure if it's worth it, so if you need to save some FPS, just leave reflections options off. In 1080p and low settings we have really nice amount of FPS, around 100. Low preset has screen space reflections quality enabled on medium, so we can also see some nice reflections on the floor. With medium preset we have lost about 30 FPS in some areas, but the game still offers pretty smooth gameplay without any issues. With high preset, the FPS can drop below 40 thanks to the reflection settings, but I still didn't see any impact on gameplay. It still offers good experience without any problems. In 1440p we start with fair amount of FPS, still it holds above 55 most of the time, providing a great experience. The resolution scale is definitely an improvement next to 1080p. With medium preset, FPS still wanders around 40 without any significant impact on gameplay, so you can still enjoy the game. You can feel it doesn't run so smoothly, but I didn't have any troubles with aiming. However, moving to high settings, it drops below 30 FPS. I can really feel the difference and the impact on gameplay, especially when aiming. With 4K it will be quite simple. Even with low settings you are already below 30 FPS. I don't see any big difference in resolution change, but the frame rate drop is significant. With medium preset going down to 20 FPS, making it unplayable. The aiming is starting to be really difficult here. And with high settings it is going down another 10 FPS. Overall, this game is definitely not playable in 4K resolution on Mac Studio M1, and playing the game in this res should be avoided. Here I have prepared few comparison screens from different parts of the game. I will refrain from commenting so you can fully enjoy them and see the visual and performance differences for yourself. If you look at game on PCGamingWiki.com, Control uses DLSS version 2.1 and doesn't have options for FSR. We can still use the mod, but we will need to do some extra steps to make it running. First, we will need to install this unofficial patch, so let's follow the link to download the file. Agree the conditions, and for this version we will use Steam. There are also options for Epic or no DRM versions if you need to. Extract the archive after the download finishes. Now navigate to the game main folder and copy all the files to the destination, replacing all existing files. Let's download the FSR3 mod from the mod site. Use the latest version, and since the game is using DLSS version 2.1 as we have seen on PCGamingWiki.com, we will also download version 2.1 of FSR mod. And as in previous case, extract the archives and copy all the files to games folder. Because the game doesn't use FSR, we will also need to copy all the files from optional nvn-gx folder. In the next step, run regedit command from crossover. From file menu, choose import registry file, navigate to games folder and import the enable signature override file that we've copied from the optional folder. Now let's open Wine configuration and create override for WinMM library. Now let's start the game for the first time to let the mod create a configuration file and quit the game immediately. Open the configuration file and set all values to true in the compatibility section. Save the changes and we are done with installation and configuration. Let's launch the game, and now we should have the option for DLSS available in settings. With DLSS enabled, we can choose between several options in render resolution section. For now, let's stay with default, and I will also set quality preset to high first. In game, we've got some artifacts on screen thanks to the AI frame generation, which is kinda expected, but I will return to that in a minute. If we check the FPS, we have around 60 most of the time, which is almost double than without the DLSS with the same settings. But the gameplay doesn't feel like it's 60. It is not so smooth and the movement is kind of choppy. One interesting thing I've noticed here: if we change the render resolution to any other, the artifacts made by AI are all gone. It still holds the FPS, so I presume it still works, but the artifacts are just not present anymore. Here is one comparison where we can see difference in performance. DLSS offers different resolution than native, but I tried to use closest available option. Without DLSS with 1080p render scale in 2K res, it seems to do the job a little better, at least on M1. With 4K res and high settings, it displays around 40 FPS. It is definitely much better than 10 FPS without the mod. The whole game feels like in slow motion, so from gameplay point of view, it is not the best experience. When I tried low settings, the speed is much better. FPS are around 60, but even here it still doesn't feel right. 60 FPS without a mod is a really big difference. I wonder how it would work on M2 or M3 Max. With 1K resolution and high settings, it provides solid 100 and more FPS. It is okay to play, but it still doesn't feel so smooth. Even here I enjoyed the game much more without the mod. With low preset, I was unable to measure correct FPS amount. The meter just goes crazy and the game crashes after few minutes. Tried that several times with the same results. The game was released in 2019, so it's been 5 years, and even today it still looks really great. What I really love about the game is the surreal atmosphere, the visuals, how the lighting works, and the ability just to take any part of the environment or any object and throw them upon the enemies. If you haven't played the game yet, I can really recommend you this one, even on Mac. I finished the game already on PS5 and I'm glad I could re-experience the game again on Mac, cause I'm not big fan of playing shooting games on gamepad. Next plus is that FSR3 mod works, so you can also try to play it in 4K res, at least with low settings. And overall, I'm glad it works and I can enjoy playing it on Mac, but I wish the performance would be a little more better and I could play it at least in 2K res and high settings with solid 60 FPS.